Hi, I'm Gabi, and this is Egypt's Gods and Goddesses. Religion was a big part of Egyptian culture. They believed in polytheism, the belief in many gods. They were also the first to, they were, although they weren't the first to believe in polytheism, they were the first to believe in the afterlife, where they wanted the comfort of their loved ones to be maintained, so that the body and soul would stay with them in the afterlife. This shows their sophistication. Although most civilizations believed in gods with human image, Egyptians believed in gods with animal heads. The Sphinx was actually one of their gods. Although for a short period of time they believed in monotheism, the belief in only one god. They believed in Aten, the sun god who was believed to look a little something like that. Now, Egyptians would sacrifice things to their gods in large temples like this. Now, they would sacrifice things like bread or wine, perfume, clothes, so much more. So much more. They also had festivals for their gods. Now, but was Pharaoh considered a god? Well, to some he was and to some he wasn't. So he's kind of known as an in-between. Not really a great answer, but it's the only one I've got. But what happens when a pharaoh dies? Well, basically the same as another person, except they would get a little bit more special treatment, but they would still have a tomb. Although all of Egypt kind of had the same thing, but like I said before, the pharaohs got a little bit of extra treatment. Well, because they were pharaoh. But basically, same thing. So, basically had a ba and a ka. Ba is basically a bird, ka here. Ka is basically is essentially a life force that you only have when you're living, and then the ba is basically a soul. So, if a ba and a ka could unite in the afterworld, a person could live in the afterlife. But the body had to be preserved, so that's why they had mummification. Anyways, but one more cool thing about the Egyptians is that they had creation stories. Now, what were these creation stories and why were they important? Well, creation stories are basically, have lessons about the world. And there's one about Isis and Osiris that I will tell to you. Isis and Osiris that I'm going to tell to you. The ancient Egyptians believed that the entire universe was called Nun. In the beginning, Nun was a vast ocean. Out of Nun emerged a single mound of dry land, and on that single land grew a single lotus flower. And the lotus flower represents the Nile, and the land was Egypt. And out of the lotus flower bloomed the god Ra. Sorry, I can't do that. Out of the lotus flower bloomed the god Ra. Ra flew into the sky and out of the bloomed Ra. Ra flew into the sky and became the god of the sun. The lotus blossom though closed each night, tucking Ra in for a safe warm night's sleep. And each morning it bloomed up once again, and so that Ra could come out and play. Ra dried up much of the land and dried up much of the water and made it land. But Ra was lonely, so he made a wife named Nut. Ignore the poor name. Ra had many gods and goddesses to keep him company, but he put them to work. But they would always take time off to have more children, and so they flourished. And Ra was the father, grandfather, or great-grandfather of them all. But to Ra, only one was important. And it was especially important, and that was his grandson, Osiris. Osiris had a brother named Seth, and now Ra thought Seth he was okay, but by far Osiris was his favorite. And to show his love for Osiris, Ra made Osiris king. And Osiris later married Isis. And they had a child named Horus. But this made Seth mad. And he was known as the god of chaos, so basically prone to anger, and so he got very, very jealous, like this little dude on fire right here. Super jealous. And he was thinking to himself, well, why am I not Pharaoh? Why is my brother Pharaoh? Why does he get to be Pharaoh? So in a fit of anger, he killed his brother and chopped him up into little pieces as he threw him down into the Nile River. Dark, I know. When Isis heard what Seth had done, she quickly gathered the pieces and brought them to her friend Anubis, the jackal-headed god, and Anubis was very clever. Clever. And he managed to put the pieces of Osiris back together again, but he did not have the power to make him human. And when Ra heard, he was furious. About Seth's actions, he was furious. He gave Osiris a new job, an even better job. He made Osiris the god of the dead, which for the Egyptians was the most important job. Although he was only a boy when Horus heard about the murder of his father, he tracked down Seth and avenged his father by killing him. Isis was grateful to her friend Anubis and to her son Horus and to her grandfather Ra, but nothing anyone could do could bring Osiris back to her. Osiris would forever live in the land of the dead, and Isis forever in the land of the living. She knew she would never see her beloved husband again, and so she cried. And in honor of god Osiris, the kings, the pharaohs of Egypt, carry a crook and a flail, the signs of Osiris. The crook especially became the sign of rulers, but flail was also there. The crook is basically a stick with a hook, and the flail, a stick with a tail. One way to remember this is a fun little jingle I made, which is, the crook has a hook and a flail has a tail. There's no way to get them mixed up, so all is well. I guess I just realized that doesn't rhyme, but we'll have to make do. But they were made out of wood, which was because wood was scarce, which made it even more special. And from the time of Osiris' death, and even today, once each year, Isis travels to the riverbank, remembering and dreaming. Tears fall from her eyes, and that is why the Nile rises each year, to bring everyone and everything along the Nile to life. When Isis cries, the Nile will rise, and that is a very important thing. Now, basically, that's all you need to know. But one more thing, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, bye! Just one more thing, though, don't forget, if you want a little answers to some of these questions, pause the video now. But see you later. Bye!